AI is going to be embedded in lots of things. Once AI and especially agentic frameworks are a bit more embedded in corporate operations, we are going to live a revolution, cost reduction, optimization in new businesses, how fast a business can be launched. A lot of startups ideas are going to come with innovative solutions. The world is going to change a lot because of the new possibilities.
Welcome back to the Leading in AI podcast. I'm Jericho, and on this show, I get to talk to some of the most interesting people working with AI today. And my guest this week is Jordi Escayola, Global Head of Advanced Analytics, AI, and Data Science at Opela. Jordi spent over 20 years building and deploying AI in the real world, leading over 80 and even 100 projects, working in one of the most complex industries you can work in. He's also a professor in different universities, such as IQS, WOC, and La Salle. And Jordi, really glad to have you here.
Thank you very much, Jericho. I hope I can bring some value to this podcast and happy to answer all questions that you may have. Thank you very much for your time.
Perfect. Let's start with the first question, which is mostly about your journey. You spent over 20 years building data analytics and AI projects, long before it became as popular as it is today. What got you into this field and what has kept you in it?
Well, honestly speaking, when I was younger, decades ago, I wanted to be a doctor, no, to study medicine and so on. But in the school, I realized that mathematics, the relationship between mathematics and me was good, and my professor told me that with mathematics you can do more than just teaching, no. Then I start my career in statistics and mathematics, and I realized that this this sector is cool because you can bring value with analytics to the different industries. I completed my degree, then I moved to my master, my PhD, and my MBA. But I also started in the industry very young. I was 21 when I had my first job in the financial industry. And I have moving a lot, no, between final client and consulting many times because I was prioritizing my learning path. I have committed lots of mistakes as you can imagine. But with the time, I believe it has been a very good decision because now I have a good overview on what's happening in the financial industry, banking, insurance, of course, healthcare, public sector, manufacturing and supply, retail, fast-moving consumer goods. Then I believe I have acquired, deep understanding of just about the technology, but how can analytics and AI can really bring value to the people's life. Then it has been an interesting journey because time ago we were considered as a nerds, these guys in the corner, hidden in the shadows that are doing strange things. But now we are becoming a bit like the rock stars, these people that can do almost everything and that can bring exceptional value to the organizations. It's challenging because we are working more than ever, and we are in the middle of a revolution. This AI revolution started by ChatGPT 2 or 3 years ago has put us on the spot. Now we need to make that happen. That's the point.
Yeah, I agree. I think right now AI has been a pivotal change in today's world, and I think it's gonna be something that gonna live some years from now. And regarding to this specific topic, you work in a large pharma company focused on the healthcare sector. What does deploying AI in a large company mean?
That's a very good question. AI is embedded, in different areas, both GPUs and local markets. Then no one is owning AI. No, when the hype started, I thought like, okay, we will need to centralize everything. It's unmanageable because we have local market requirements, we have global goals. Then it's impossible to be in the middle of everything. No. I believe digital teams are becoming an enabler, which means we need to define certain basics, certain ways of working. We need to make sure that the accelerators that we are betting make sense for the company, but also we need to get our hands dirty in the big bets. What a big bet means. AI is not prompting in an LLM. AI is more than this, no? Then more than ever, it's becoming very important to understand the real business value behind these AI initiatives and don't get just biased by the hype because you want to be everywhere. I don't believe this is a good strategy. And as I said, more than ever, we need to be selective with our battles and we need to make sure that our impact can be propagated across the globe. As you mentioned, I'm working in a global firm, which is challenging sometimes because from the cultural perspective, it's not the same working with people in Los Angeles than in Japan. But at the same time, if you are capable to scale, if you are capable to get ideas from one part of the globe and make that happen globally, the value that you can bring to the organization is massive. Then it's challenging, but at the same time is rewarding.
Perfect. Regarding actually to this topic, how it's like building an AI roadmap, no, for a company. You said that companies that there's a lot of cultural challenges, specifically in specific cultural challenges. How do you make a global organization align so that you could focus on achieving your goals?
Well, this is a very, very challenging question. I believe the answer is not going to be as good as the question. In corporate, the AI roadmap needs to be managed at different levels. No, one thing is the executive level, which is target technology, the main processes, the transformational program. But when you need to land it, the roadmap needs to be adapted to local market requirements, to specific GPU requirements. Then, to keep it practical, from my perspective, flexibility is important. It means it makes sense to have a concrete roadmap for each GPU. No? Now, once a digital team has visibility on the final requirements, you can try to connect the dots. But I believe it's not as simple as just an overall roadmap and that's it. For a shorter company, up to 1K, 2K employees probably makes more sense. But if the organization is bigger than 10K employees, I believe it's really, really challenging because everyone has its own goals and the goals make sense. And if you need to if you want to propagate these goals across the organization, it's difficult. Then more than ever, flexibility is important. As I said, I believe the digital teams are becoming enablers and we need to be super flexible and super agile because the technology is evolving very fast and it influences the roadmap. If you know that more can be done with technology, your business stakeholders are going to ask for more or for different things. Then it's not like 10 years ago when you had your roadmap and you need to make that happen in 5 years. Probably the roadmap needs to be revisited every year now.
Yeah, I totally agree. And now I want to talk more about agents, AI agents. Most people are still talking about agents in theory. And from your perspective as an executive in a large organization, what's your current perspective of agentic AI in these organizations, or is it basically they're just basically talking about the theory?
Well, agents and the subsequent agentic framework approach give us a lot of flexibility. No, with the agentic approach, you can target not very well defined business cases with a high probability of success. No, because at the end of the day, an agent can enroute the next steps and can connect different AI layers and different AI solutions behind. Our experience has been positive, to be honest with you. If we are targeting a use case which needs to handle different requirements, that's definitely the path. Probably is the best approach now. If your goal is very detailed, very accurate, like I need the best forecast, you have better approaches, no, like the traditional forecasting methods, but the agent can trigger these models. Then at the end of the day, the agentic framework can act as a coordinator of different analytical methodologies behind. Then the short answer is we are living a revolution and I'm 100% on it. I really encourage people to learn a bit more on agentic frameworks and in technologies like LangGraph if you want to get your hands dirty and to understand how it really works.
So you also teach at different universities. Where does this passion come from, and why do you like teaching?
For some reason, I decided to study mathematics and statistics because there was options, no, apart from teaching. But now for some reason, I decided to complement my work with teaching. I just don't know, and I had to complete my PhD to do that. I remember I was doing my PhD at the same time I was working in consulting. At the same time, I was doing my executive MBA. Everything together, it was funny times, but I was younger. I had more energy. Then I believe it's a way to stay connected with young people, with young talent, and to keep you updated. It forces you to keep you updated. No, as you can imagine, in my daily tasks, I'm not coding in Python. I'm a bit far away from that. But if you are still teaching, if you are still a bit close to researching, it forces you to be updated on the positive side of the story. Then I believe it's a win-win situation.
Where do you think AI will surprise people the most in the next years in ways they're not even thinking about yet?
That's a wonderful question. I'm going to share my perspective. No, AI is going to be embedded in lots of things which are easy to understand, but that are not bringing real value to the people's lives. Now, for example, tools like ChatGPT and so on are super good, but this is not a game changer. I believe once AI and especially agentic frameworks are a bit more embedded in corporate operations, we are going to live a revolution in terms of cost reduction, in terms of optimization, in terms of new businesses, in terms of how fast a business can be launched. Well, we have been talking about that in private. Then I believe a lot of startups ideas are going to come with innovative solutions, which requires not very much investing. And I encourage young people to be brave and to take some risks because the difference is massive. A time ago, if you wanted to create a software as a service application and put it in the market, it required millions or almost millions. Now with AI, with technologies like cloud, you can develop almost everything from the scratch without at a high investment. No, then long story short, it's not just about what you see; it's about what's happening behind the scenes. I believe it's going to take a few years for this revolution to be consolidated, and in the middle, there's a lot of hype, no doubt about it. The stock market is a bit, in my opinion, a bit crazy. Some companies are investing a lot of capex. Not all of them will succeed. Will see the return. But in terms of society, I believe in 5 to 6 years, the world is going to change a lot, not because of the new possibilities. And as I said, I encourage young people to take risks because now is a very, very good moment.
And see you soon.
Thank you very much. Stay connected.